Welcome to Care to Talk, a conversation exploring care and end-of-life issues. I'm Corey, and today we're going to be talking about Maison Albert House with my guest, Brenda Rashore. Brenda is the nurse manager at Maison Albert House. The Care to Talk podcast is hosted by Hospice Southeast New Brunswick as a tool to have frank and honest conversations about end-of-life. At the end of the show, we're going to be providing a short update about upcoming activities that might be of interest. So let's get into it. Welcome Brenda Rashore to the podcast. Okay, welcome back. Our guest today is the nurse manager at Maison Albert House, Brenda Rashore. Hi, Brenda. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Corey. Thanks for having me.
So the first question we're going to have is, can you introduce yourself and explain what your role is at Maison Albert and how long you've been with us?
Sure. So again, my name is Brenda Richard, and I'm the nurse manager here at Maison Albert House. I've been here since November 2021, so time sure flies.
Almost 3 years now. It's pretty incredible.
So my role is to oversee the clinical staff and clinical operations, basically. So support and also accompany the residents and the families with the team.
Can you talk a little bit to me about what palliative care is?
Sure. Palliative care is a specialty in medicine that focuses on palliation. So palliation is really the relief of symptoms, suffering by managing either pain, nausea, anxiety, whatnot. So it's a very specialized area in medicine that is very important, especially with end-of-life illnesses.
What does hospice care encompass, Brenda?
So hospice is a patient-centered approach with the family as well. So the care, the support that is given, that really focuses on the dignity, the quality of life, and just actually help people to live while they're dying.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think hospice care is a pretty incredible thing.
It is.
How does palliative care aim to improve a patient's quality of life?
Well, actually, there is research that proves that hospice care can even improve a person's prognosis. So we have people that come to hospice and we don't think that they'll be with us for very long. And surprisingly, with the love, the care that they receive, the wonderful food, and even seeing their families relieved from the stress of being the caregivers, it causes people just to feel better. And we call it there's a word that they use, it's the hospice sprinkle. So it's almost like a pixie dust that hospice will spread, and the person actually feels better for a while before they start to decline. So they also call it the hospice bump. So it contrary to the belief that hospice care or palliative care hastens death, it's really a misconception. Because we help them to feel better or best they can in what they're going through.
Yeah, we always talk about we help them live their best life for whatever that time may be.
Absolutely.
It's really amazing to see at hospice sometimes. You mentioned family members. How does hospice care help support family members? Hospice
helps in so many ways. People even say just walking into hospice, the feeling of coming in, it's almost like a hospice hug that has been described to us. They feel supported. They feel a hug. They feel less stress, and really just seeing their loved one well taken care of, better management of symptoms, and just being able to put aside all the stressors maybe that they had when they were either at home or elsewhere, and be able to be together. And they can help with the care for sure, but it takes away the heavy part of being the caregiver and lets them become, again, the wife, the husband, the grandmother, the aunt, the sister, whatnot.
Yeah, I think the importance of that is it's one of my favorite things here at hospice. And we hear it every day that, now I get to be the wife again.
exactly.
Because just being the wife of the husband is a full-time job, really.
It
So you
is.
don't have to be the caregiver anymore.
It is.
Um,
There's recently somebody who mentioned that they weren't quite ready to come to hospice, but they felt it was the right time because they saw their loved one that was the caregiver struggling.
yeah,
So it was a relief to come, even if they weren't quite ready. So
yeah,
I thought that was pretty special
that is
to
pretty
have that
special.
realization.
Can you tell us a little bit about the dietary services at Maison Bar? Because we have an amazing kitchen, very
We
special.
do have an amazing kitchen. We have two wonderful chefs in the kitchen that really, really put a lot of love into the ingredients of the meals that they prepare. Everything is homemade, is made with so much attention. What struck me in the beginning was the small size portions, so people don't feel overwhelmed with this huge bowl of oatmeal that they know they'll only be able to make a small dent in because their appetites are decreased or they're just not feeling like eating. And so just small portions, sometimes little flowers, fresh fruit, the trays are so nice and bright and they tell a story. They tell a story and it really stimulates people's appetites. For sometimes people haven't eaten in quite a while and their appetite does pick up because it's just made with so much love and care. And it's different than at home for sure.
Yeah,
Which
our
is
chefs are amazing. We're very lucky.
we are.
At what point should someone consider self-referring to hospice?
I say the earlier the better. If you know that that's what you want and that's on your in your plan, uh, the earlier the better because we can help support along the way. We can build relationships over the phone or we can meet in person. People can come in to have a visit at hospice. It helps us to know what's going on in the person's life so that when the time comes that to make the transition, it's that much easier because we know the situation, we know the person, what's going on, and the transition it makes it that much smoother.
So you talked about admission. What are the criteria for admission at Maison Bar House?
I mentioned a little earlier 3 months or less for Maison Albert House. So first and foremost, it's very important that people understand well their diagnosis and their prognosis, and they have to be accepting to come to hospice. Once that's taken care of, the other criteria are really a do not resuscitate indication because we're focused on symptom management and comfort care. We don't do any active treatments and whatnot, so that has to be well clear and understood. We have a performance scale that we use, the palliative performance scale, to help to determine where they are as far as their needs with their activities of daily living. So if they're able to do their own care, or do they need more help? Where their appetite is, are they mobilizing? That's part of the evaluation to
Yeah,
see if they fit all criteria. That's yeah, that pretty much encompasses.
no, that's pretty much it. The PPS is just kind of a scale that health care providers use to assess somebody easily, and it helps us along the way. Um, we're going to switch it to a little more of a personal side now.
Okay,
Can you share your favorite memory from your time at hospice?
it's hard to pick one. There's so many good memories, and again, there's so much misconception around hospice that this is a sad place and a somber place where we are so privileged to witness um, beautiful moments and just life-changing situations for people who come to access service here. And I'll always remember when I had first started, there's this person that was admitted and they were pretty isolated in their apartment and in a bad situation. So on their way in, we had just put the Christmas tree up. It wasn't decorated yet, and I still see the person's face light up and say, "Wow, like this is going to be a different kind of Christmas," but in a positive way. For me, he was coming here to die, But all he could think about was this is going to be a good Christmas because he was going to be supported by the hospice family because he was quite isolated at home. And that person pretty much became our hospice Santa. It's just, yeah, that's a memory that'll stay with me for a long time, how we made such a difference in a difficult time in their life.
That was a very special Christmas. I remember that's the same resident that we had. He asked to go see Christmas lights, and we actually had transport come in.
Yes.
Hospice works miracles sometimes. It's really impressive that if we reach out to the community provides for us. Mm-hmm. And we had a transport come in to bring him for a drive to see Christmas lights. And I came in after that for a night shift, and he was beaming, glowing. Yeah. It was an amazing night. So, yeah, those are some amazing memories at hospice. So, one other thing that we do at hospice that's very special is our exit ceremony.
Yes. Yes.
Can you explain the exit ceremony a little bit and your feelings about it?
Sure. So the exit ceremony is a special moment where we can honor the person that was here in receiving their end-of-life care. It's a moment to support the families and show them the love and the respect that we have for them and for their loved one. So what we do is once the person has passed and the funeral home arrives, they prepare them, and once they're on the gurney, we have a special blanket that was made by volunteers with 3D butterflies on it. So it's our special exit ceremony quilt. That blanket is used unless there's another special blanket that the family would want to use. And all of the staff, it could be housekeeping, from the kitchen, bookkeeping, you name it. We all line up in the entrance where the person actually came in. We line up with candles and we honor them as they exit the building. Often the family will choose a special song or we'll just have soft music. And it's just such a vulnerable, such a special moment where we can have a closure as well, but also to help the family honor their loved one as they exit the building.
We took the idea for the exit ceremony from a hospice in the United States, and they do the same thing out through their garden. It's really a special ceremony, and I don't think it matters how many times you've seen it. It always feels privileged for me to experience it with every family.
It really is a privilege. It really is. And when you see the amount of appreciation that they have for that moment, it brings tears to my eyes.
Just talking about it.
Yes.
Why hospice?
I'll often refer to hospice as next level care. I've said that from the beginning.
I've heard that from you a couple times.
Yes. I just feel that there's so much that we can give to make a difference in a person's life, in a family's life. And in other care settings, we don't always have the opportunity to give that much to this extent. And so this is where all the little things count even more so, not to discount where it's needed elsewhere, but the level of appreciation that is here and the difference that you can make for these people. It's just, I have a hard time to find the words to describe it. Just my heart swells.
It's next level.
It's next level. That's exactly what it is.
I agree completely. So we're going to finish this interview with our fun question, which will be asked to every guest who comes on here. If we were to create a hospice mixtape, because we might create a hospice Spotify playlist, if we were to create a hospice mixtape, what song would Brenda Rashore add to that mixtape and why?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. When I think of songs that we could add to a mixtape, I guess it brings me back to that exit ceremony and all the special songs that have been played. Some special, some quite interesting. Often it really represents the person. So we've had I'm trying to think of one of the most common ones, Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
And then we've even had somebody play Raise a Little Hell. And I'm telling you, that was you couldn't have had more represented, a more better song to represent this person. Yeah. And we all smiled and kind of just nodded not nod our heads, but almost
we were almost headbanging.
Almost headbanging. Yes, okay. That's what I'm doing now.
That resident would have liked that we were headbanging.
Yes,
that just encompassed that resident.
Yeah, so that's another song, and one that was played a few times, and that kind of resonates with me because it's a song that I grew up listening to in my family home, is "On the Road Again," and I guess it just symbolizes the continuity of your journey. So continuing along on your road. So we were part of a small time in the person's life. So that section of the road, and then they just continue on. So I guess that would be one song that I would choose.
Well, I guess we'll get on the road again now because this is the end of the interview. Is there anything you want to add, Brenda?
I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share about hospice. And I'm really grateful that we have these podcasts and that we'll be able to continue to share education and experience and just the beauty of what hospice is.
The beauty of hospice. I like that. All right. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Brenda, for joining me. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Hospice SENB is a registered charity created in 2004 to promote life-limiting conditions. We provide hospice care, in-home support, and grief support, serving Albert, Kent, and Westmoreland counties. To learn more about Hospice SENB, please visit us at www.hospicesenb.ca. You can also search Hospice SENB on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. You can also visit the shop, located at 164 Collishaw Street in Moncton. Our next event is going to be the Memorial Golf Tournament on the 31st of July, sponsored by BMW Moncton. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon.